Damn, easy. And of course, this is the person that predicted that Easy was going to, in fact, come closer. So you predicted
I
that
bet.
Easy was going to win. What happened to your man Easy on
Now
the
why
night?
now why I wear this jalabia? I shame too much. Like Israel, like Adesanya, like you shamed me. Like I wrote a check. I thought you were going to cash it, but the thing has bounced back to me like this,
Damn,
and I don't know how to cash that check.
damn.
I wrote the check, believing that Adesanya is obviously going to cash it, and look at me back.
And the worst part was that he looked
Like he,
horrible.
oh,
He
like
looked horrible.
God.
He did not even have, as in Strickland, in trouble at any point in that fight. He did not even put up. There was no point in the fight where you say, "Oh, he's tagging Strickland right now. Strickland is looking like maybe he might get knocked out or something." He didn't even land a clean, clear shot like something that would have hurt Strickland. In fact, to make matters worse, Strickland said out of his own mouth that he felt as if he was in there with an amateur.
Like Israel felt like a sparring partner in the cage. He was not there to even. He felt like he was just there to participate. He was not like everything I said. He was not going to allow him. Israel is going to control the rounds. Israel is going to decide. Israel walked in there looking like a puppet.
Man,
Like
it was bad.
God, like God damn, like
It was horrible.
like what the
El
fuck?
Holibure. El Horrible. It was so horrible.
Like I could not believe. Like
Watching it back again,
God.
and Strickland's approach to the fight was very, very simplistic. He didn't do much in terms of he nullified Izzy by keeping the game very simple. Israel is a very complicated kind of striker. He likes to feint and make you make mistakes and see what you bite, what you react to, and then he will take you from there. But Strickland gave him nothing, just the Philly shell all night, hand up, shoulders up, and that was it. That was all it took. And even towards the end of the fight, where it was apparent that Easy would have needed, or rather, Easy needed a knockout to win, Strickland was still walking him down and shouting at him. Yeah,
Was like Israel looked he looked like when you're pursuing like when you're chasing an animal like you want to
mm,
kill like Israel looked like a deer in a headlight. He did not look prepared, he did not look like he was ready, he did not look like he belonged in the ring for one instance in that fight.
damn.
Like Israel, you've turned like if I had staked money on you, like you've taken me to the cleaners.
Jake lost his bet. A lot of people lost their bet. I know. Before the fight, I told you clearly. I said this is the type of match where the person or the team everybody expects to win will lose because they think, oh, now he has conquered the unconquerable Alex Pereira. So what else is left in the division for him? you know. And I also had questions about Israel's motivation going into this fight. Now, don't get me wrong. No excuses. He was beaten fair and square. Let's not even start that whole, oh, he probably went, his training camp probably did not go well, or it was an injury, or it was. And then the part that annoys me the most about this fight, and when I say annoys me the most, not even about the fight itself, about the aftermath. You have Dracos Duplessis coming out from the shadows, out of nowhere. He could have made himself available during this fight, at least after the fight, to jump into the cage and then talk to the winner, just like we know how these fights go. Because if you don't fight for the fight to get made, the fight will never get made. So instead of Duplessis to come to the fight, show up, at least make his presence felt in the octagon after the fight, he was wherever it is he is right now, tweeting and saying, "Oh, I'm next up. It's me against Strickland." And then White already said, "I'm not a fan of people, did people turning
Who
down. You
don't
understand?
take
Turning
title
down their
shots.
fights. You understand? You turned the fight down because you claimed you were injured, and instead of you to show up, at least show up to the fight since you're now in fighting form or fighting mode. Show up, even if you showed up with a cast on your legs. Okay, this cast is going to be healed in a couple of
Please
weeks, and I'm
give us a
ready. Yeah, give us
spectacle.
something. He's just in his house tweeting, and that I think that to me, just the fight was spectacular to watch. Sean Strickland destroy Izzy Adesanya the way he did. I think that after that first,
Lockdown.
knockdown, Israel never quite recovered because he was now in a situation where he didn't want to overcommit so that he won't get knocked out. Because another thing I have to also credit is his chin. Because when he hit him like that, he looked for it like he split second as if that was it. But then when you watch the way Easy went down, he had his hand to the canvas. Like he did not fall like you understand. He
For
did
flailing.
not fall flailingly. He fell. He was
But it
aware
was
of where
controlled.
he was aware of where and that is his chin is for him to take that shot and still somehow manage to survive, for the 5 rounds.
And here I was before the fight asking who is Sean Strickland.
Now you know.
I'll have to eat my words. Please,
Now you know.
I'm sorry. That's why I'm wearing this jalabia. Like my shame is too much.
He has to cover his
I
shame.
cannot wear polo for this kind of for post match reaction. You have to wear jalabia. Like Sean Strickland. Big ups to you though. You rocked my world. You rocked my world.
And he broke his belt already.
Like
And he almost has almost no regard for the belt. He said, this does not make me happy. I know that's going to anger Dana
but
White a lot.
it's
Dana
just
White didn't want him
it's
to win
just a
that.
spectacle, just for
Just for
showmanship and all
showmanship,
that.
yeah. Oh man. But then the problem with this, I think the problem with the division in general is now that Duplessis, it's just like when Alex won the belt from Izzy, right? The way Alex looked against Izzy, everybody said, well, all that is needed is just a wrestler. A wrestler will beat Alex easily in the first round, like a wrestler like Whitaker or Hamzat or somebody. Now with Strickland, it's almost the same thing. It's like, okay, if he gets in there with someone that wants to wrestle, since he beat Izzy on feet convincingly, how is he going to fare against someone that wants to wrestle? Because the people don't really see him as that champion that I'm here now and I'm going to sit on top of the mountain for a long time.
It depends. Well, I think they are going. Israel is going to demand for a rematch.
Okay,
That's if he wants to go that road. Most likely, I think he will go there. And he has earned it. He has been the most like he has been one of
the most
probably has been the
dominant.
most dominant and the most active.
Yeah, he has been
Of
very
he
very
has been
active.
very
I
very
think he has
active.
headlined about 16, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 16 UFC
He has
events or
like
something.
he
He has
has
been back
fought
to back
more
to
like
back to
more
back.
than
Yeah.
many other champions. So obviously, you obviously get the rematch.
Mm.
That's if you want to. But barring that, I think depends on Izzy's motivation because if Izzy doesn't decide to rematch,
Very
the
much.
division is as open as any as
Everybody are saying he should sit out for a while. He has ended. He has been on top for a while. He should just take his time. But the problem is, with things like this, the narrative. If, for instance, you sit out for a while and let's say Dracos comes and beats Strickland, and then for some weird reason, let's say we take out, or maybe Hamzat, because if Hamzat beat Costa or Costa beats Hamzat or whatever, and then they come up against Dracos, and let's say Hamzat beats Dracos, it's like now you're going to have Strickland somewhere down, maybe rated number 4 or 5, and it's always going to be reflected on a record that you lost to this guy. So you want a situation where Strickland still has the belt even after beating you, because it will look bad on you if Dracos comes up, beats Strickland, and then if Hamzat comes up and beats Dracos. Because now you want to fight the top guy, right? You don't want to fight from maybe number 3 rated, which at that point might be Strickland. Now nobody knows, oh, for real. I'm just permutating what might eventually happen in the division. So what I'm saying is, would you suggest that he sits out, or would you suggest that he jumps straight back into
he
the
should
octagon?
obviously jump straight back. He has to avenge the loss, obviously. If he sits out, one thing leads to another. Maybe he might not even fight in division again. The next thing you hear is Sean Strickland retired easy. That's the next thing you hear. Sean Strickland has
I think
retired in this.
Marvin Vettori has also reached out to Strickland, according to him. So it's like everybody's just waiting, and then as soon as they see, oh, one person has beat Easy finally, now they're trying. Everybody's
Everybody's
circling,
trying
you
to
understand?
scramble.
Everybody's
Like
trying to scramble because it's almost like they know.
it feels a little bit like boxing with the
Mm.
Lomachenko when he had
Yeah,
it.
when they
When
had the belt, nobody wanted to.
everybody,
Yeah,
as soon as
as
he
soon as
lost, everybody now everybody remember where they kept their gloves. Oh, everybody was now, oh, I
we
want
want
to
to
fight.
fight. Yeah.
So now they have seen that the champ, the
Mm.
person that has been giving everybody trouble, is no longer at the top.
Yeah.
They are seeing if they can sneak in. And if someone else takes the belt from Strickland, it creates an entirely
Entirely
new
new
pathway
pathway.
for Israel to get the belt back.
That's what I'm
So
saying.
he
So
has
he
to
has to get it from
get it from
Strickland in
Strickland.
order to avenge the loss and the other thing. But then he has been active for too long. So if the UFC fixes, let's say October, no, sorry, October is already here. Let's say February next year. Would that be too quick of a turnaround? This is September already. You have October, November, December. I think there's December is when Oliveira is supposed to go up against Islam Makhachev, if I'm not mistaken, in Abu Dhabi. So they might, is Easy ready for that kind of a quick turnaround? Do you think it's something he can do within 2 or 3 months?
Providing he didn't take much damage from this fight,
Mm.
It's not like we haven't seen him do it before. We saw him do it with Pereira. We saw him come back and
So
look like himself.
yeah,
But the way he lost this fight is the issue. It's not just about the losing. The way
the
he
way he
lost it.
lost it.
He didn't lose a closely contested unanimous.
Yeah,
He was beating from start to finish. So the way he lost is the issue. It's not just about him losing.
yeah.
He lost like he didn't belong in the ring, and that for me is the issue. So if he can come back looking like the old Easy, we'll take
You
it.
know, sometimes too, fighters can get old in the gym. I think that's one thing that fans don't really understand. When you train hard, you go into these fights, you come back after the fight, you recover, you train hard again. A lot of times, a fighter can look this good, you know, and then the next minute, the next fight is like, who is this guy? You understand? Like this guy has gotten old overnight. You understand? Just like I think Canelo versus Bivol and then Canelo versus Triple G. In the third Triple G fight, Canelo was obviously better, but he looked as if he was old. You understand? It looked as if he was done and old and everything. So, I don't know if that's the case with Easy as far as overtraining. Again, let me just be clear. This is not an excuse. He lost fair and square. I'm just saying, going forward, are we going to? Is it possible to still get the Easy that is hungry and passionate about it? Because against Pereira, he had something to prove, or is this just a point where he's, feeling like, man, I've done my bit. I've tried for the division. How long do you see him lasting? Even if he comes back, for instance, let's say, how long do you see him lasting? Like,
I don't think he has. I don't think this is a fighting game. It's a young man's game. I think.
he's
And for the
31, I
for
know
the
for
kind
now.
of fighter he is, not a
Mhm.
wrestler. He's more of a stand-up kicking
Mhm.
guy. I think he's 34 now.
Okay. I don't know exactly how
I
old
think
he
he should
is.
be around 34. So it depends on him on how he feels. If he still feels like he's in his prime, he's good. He knows his body. He's good to go. But if you feel he's done enough to me, like he has ruled. He
You're not
has
enough, but at the same
he
time,
has reigned.
you want to put an asterisk, or rather, not
A
an asterisk,
stamp. You want to put a
an
stamp
exclamation mark
on
on your
your on
legacy.
legacy.
If he had beaten Pereira and just deep like was like, I don't have anything else. Even people will say, oh, Pereira is 3-1, it's 3-1, but it's like, I'm done
No,
with the
I
game.
think he definitely comes back against Strickland. I think he definitely comes back. Maybe he fights the plague, maybe not. But maybe he fights the plague. After the plague, like he has rounded the whole division.
Mm,
If I were him,
mm,
if he comes back, if that yeah, this is probability now. If
yeah.
he comes back, beat
Mm.
Strickland, beat the plague, I think that should be it.
This is the problem now. How there will always be saying, okay, you beat Strickland, you beat the everybody say, oh, Hamzat will beat you because Hamzat is a wrestler, Hamzat is not the player, Hamzat is not because the thing is just like the Mayweather thing. Even though Floyd Mayweather kind of went a different route, but there's no amount of people you will beat, and everybody's okay now, just like Crawford beat Spence. Oh, Boots and his Boots now, you have to beat Boots. It's like there will never be a point where it is because remember, if he fights, let's say he fights Strickland, Duplessis, and then Hamza, let's just imagine. Now you're talking about next year, November, because you will need like 2 or 3 months in between each fight between now and then. You understand? So by next year November, remember he will now be 35 and also older with all these fights. By between now and then, there will always be another fighter that everybody will say, yeah, this is just like John Jones. There's somebody new now that with that you beat Cyril Gane so easy, but you can't beat this guy. This guy is on a different level.
I think well, no matter what he does, people he can keep fighting till he reaches 50. They will still say there's a new guy, there's a new one, there's another guy.
I think the Duplessis fight would have inspired him more. I don't now that's what I'm saying. If the excuse him and his team wants to give is that maybe he did not train well or whatever, I don't care about the excuse, but I feel that the Duplessis fight would have inspired him more in terms of what it meant because the Strickland fight was like a replacement. Going into this fight, I've almost felt like watching Anthony Joshua versus Ruiz. No, Joshua was supposed to fight. Was he White or someone? The person got entangled with is it drug doping something that he
Uh,
had to ban the person and then Ruiz stepped in and beat Joshua. So that's the way I felt about this fight. I don't know if that will be their excuse. So what I'm saying in essence is if that is their excuse, then the Duplessis fight makes sense for his legacy. As far as who is the I don't like engaging in the the who is the more African person or whatever, but for the fights come to Africa, UFC South Africa, something like that, something that will be monumental for the continent. I think that's the fight where he might maybe hang it up if he wants to hang it up anytime soon.
yeah, he hasn't even talked about hanging it up. So obviously he's still interested in the fighting game. But if and when he comes back, he needs to look better than he did the last time. He
Mm.
needs to. He did not look like a fighter in the last match. He looked like an. He looked like he threw me into the ring. He looked like an amateur, and that's why I went to Jalabia because my shame and your shame. Let's just use the Jalabia to
Man,
cover it up.
and so a lot of people were like, "Man, I wish I bet on Sean. Sean was the 70 to 1 underdog or 700 to 1 underdog. Like the odds were huge
You know,
in Izzy's favor.
the odds will obviously be if he was the clear favorite. Even I said it in the pre-match,
Yeah,
the pre-match talk. Like
yeah. And
Izzy was
by the way,
I.
hey, UFC, I'm very angry at you guys. You guys, you pulled down my last video for copyrights. I don't even understand what the copyright infringement was. All I used was a very 5 second clip of the shots that Strickland cut easy with. That was all, and you guys just cut. Anyway, dinner. I hope Strickland holds on to that belt for your anger. Anyway, yeah, you were saying
I've lost my train of
what's your
thought.
trajectory? You were saying about UFC, South Africa, Easy, blah blah blah, Duplessis.
Depends if he has to come back looking like a better fighter, and that's just it. He has
Okay.
to come back just looking like better fighter, looking like a fighter. In the cage that on Saturday he did not on Sunday he didn't look like a fighter.
I sort of like I said, I just had that premonition, man. When just like I said, just like when a Man City is going up against a Derby County and maybe they've been on a 10 game winning streak or a 15 game winning streak. And it's like, yo, if they win this one match now, they'll become the highest over. Everybody's like, yeah, it's a sure banker. I just nah, bro. And that's the point where the bookies always take money from people. Where everybody is so sure about something, just know that nobody knows what they are doing, you know. But in any case, Israel Adesanya, man, I don't know. Would it have been better if he had gotten knocked out like a Kamaru Usman?
You
I'm
know,
saying
you
like
know,
in
you
terms
know,
of the visual of the fight, you feel better if you say, oh, he caught him with a shot and he just knocked him out, or will it be better the way it happened, or is it better the way it happened like this?
it depends. You can't hindsight is always 2020, so you can't if he was knocked out clean, a lot of other things would have happened. A lot of things you can't
Hmm.
ordinarily
When
think
I
of
really
right
think of it
now
right now.
will happen. So like
But I think for him to come back in the rematch, if at all the rematch is the next fight he takes, he needs to sharpen his defense. Because from the stance of what Sean Strickland caught him with, he was almost backing up against the cage. Strickland was coming in, so he was loading up, the left hook, but then Strickland immediately jabbed to take him off balance and then caught him with the right before he could, swing the left.
it's the fighting game. You cannot always be the number one at every point in time.
Mm.
So obviously Strickland was better prepared and better equipped
When
for
you're at the top
that
of
for
the
that
mountain,
round.
it's easy for people to look at you and feel like,
And sometimes when you are that technical, so
mm,
calculated, so
mm,
measured, like you lose maybe something, you might lose focus of the
a bit of
basics.
creativity or something.
I think you might lose focus of the basics. Like I think in like just like the Canelo before fight, before didn't do anything too crazy, just basic fundamentals. And you are trying to jab, sleep, do some kind of crazy moves, but someone is just coming in there
Yeah, just keeping it
straight,
simple.
keeping it simple, and you are busy just trying to look for pockets, trying to weave in
Mm,
on, and before you know it, you're just losing. You don't
man.
know why, but you are losing.
I think a lot of people still don't believe that that fight has happened. As far as Strickland, Easy, a lot of people are still in their like, did that fight really happen the way it happened? Did we see Sean Strickland make Israel Adesanya look as basic and as simplistic? Like he basically froze Easy. Easy was, like I said, he just didn't know what to throw. There was his question mark kicks, his check hooks. The normal Easy that is very, very calculative and attentive and can take advantage of any holes that he finds in your game. We didn't see him on that night.
Like I said, sometimes when you are that technical, that
Mm,
calculated, sometimes all it takes is just fundamental fighting
straight up and
techniques,
down,
just
man.
straight up.
And by the way, um, Canelo Jamal Charlo, September 30th. That's about in a 3 weeks time. How do you see that fight playing out? By the way, we'll still do a full analysis of this. I just want to
I
get into
think
it.
that's basically payday for Chalo.
You, you see, again, again,
That is
again, he's
basically
going
payday for
again,
Chalo.
again, he's going in favor of Canelo easy win.
Maybe it might not be easy. Chalo might bring war, but That's payday for him. It's
But
not.
Charlo jumping 2 divisions up, though. I
His
think
belt is
that is
his belt is not on the line. No.
his belt is not nice. His belt is at 154, I think. Yeah, his belt is at
That's
154, yes.
basically payday for Charlo.
And he's jumping two
If
divisions.
his belt was on the line, then I would say he's coming with war. But his belt is not. It's just let it be that he fought the
Man.
Canelo.
But then Canelo beats him. The Crawford fight is seemingly next if Canelo beats Charlo. Or whoever wins, regardless. I think Crawford has already made it clear that he wants to go up to 168. But I know he would prefer Canelo to win because of the money that the fight is going to generate.
Even if he doesn't like Canelo is obviously the biggest name right now in boxing. So no
Yeah.
matter what he's doing, even if he has the belt, he lost to Bivol and he just had
He didn't feel like,
nobody. He didn't
yeah,
feel
he didn't
like
feel like he has
Canelo
to,
still feels like Canelo
yeah, he
up to
still
now.
feels
He
like,
didn't. Nobody even cared. It was like he lost. Like it was just like a fluke match or something. So Canelo is still Canelo no matter
but in
what.
his last fight, he didn't look as good. He took too many shots. He, tried to trade with the guy in the middle of the ring a lot of time. Even though he knocked him out, he knocked him down, sorry, twice in the fight. But then, who can say if he has gotten older? I think this will be the test because Charlo coming up from 154 will be a lot faster. He will have speed on his side as an advantage. So it remain, if Canelo can keep up with Charlo's speed, then for me I think we can say Canelo hasn't gotten old. But if the Triple G fight and his last fight has anything to go by, then we might actually start seeing the decline of Canelo because a lot of his upper body movement was not there. A lot of his footwork was, even though he doesn't have great footwork per se. He has like static, it's mostly upper body movement he uses. But you know, I don't know. For that fight, Canelo Chalo, man, I would say I think a Canelo decision or maybe a late Canelo knockout.
Knockout.
No. I think no. Canelo actually runs out of gas during the second half of a fight. So if Chalo can box and move, if he can box and move and avoid Canelo catching him trying to look, trying to look cocky in there, maybe he might have a legitimate chance. But otherwise, I think maybe a late knockout, maybe seventh round, maybe eighth round, just because of the weight difference, coming up 2 weight classes to come and face the champion.
I think the weight difference will not be much of a hindrance to Charlie because most of these guys walk
They walk
around
around.
at that weight they're supposed to
But the
be.
problem is, if you're walking around, let's say you're walking around at 160, 170, right? That's your walk around weight. Now, a Canelo's walk around weight is like 175. Do you understand? So on fight nights, after you guys measure up at 168, 168, he will rehydrate and
Back to
eventually be
one.
heavier than you. You understand?
Yeah,
So he will still have the weight advantage, even though the size advantage Charlo has, because Charlo is a lot bigger than him. But the weight advantage, I think, in terms of carrying the power you have at 154 up to 168, Charlo should struggle. 2 weight classes up. Remember when Wilemo Rigondeaux went up to face Lomachenko? Remember that?
realize that
Realize that there are
they are
weight
weight
classes for
classes
a
for a
reason. You
reason.
understand? So, you know, I mean, like I said, late knockout, seventh, eighth round. Charlo survives the first 5 rounds, but just starts getting beat down for like 6, 7, and then maybe 8. The fight gets stopped. I think 2 weight classes above. I think the fight gets stopped in the 8th.
I think if he can find a way to move, just move better a little bit better, because I think Canelo is obviously heavier. He doesn't have this loose and limber movement he
Yeah.
had when he was in the lower weight classes.
Mm.
So if Charlo can move a lot better, avoid body shots because I think that's Canelo money shot a lot of these days.
Yeah.
Avoid the body shot because Canelo works seriously to the body. Avoid the body shots. You can come out there with a decision. You can come out there
I
with a
don't know who
decision.
has the longer reach. I'll have to do my research on that because that also plays a part. Okay, moving on from that, let's say Canelo beats Charlo. Crawford, just one verdict. We will not go into that now. We'll go into that later. One verdict: Crawford, Canelo. Who
Crawford is
wins?
not making the fight.
He's not making the
He's not
fight.
making the
He's not
fight.
making the fight, or he's not going to survive the fight.
He's not making the fight.
The fight is not going to
He's
get
not
made,
going to get me.
man. But he's ready. He says he's ready to jump from 147 to
The
168.
weight difference of it. You will realize that there are weight classes for a reason.
Man, okay,
He
but
has never been that big. He has always been skinny.
but if okay, my verdict is Crawford goes up to 168 and survives 12 rounds with Canelo. I think he has the ability to do so, and he has the defensive ability to do so. What I don't know is if he can make Canelo respect his power. Anyway, anything else you want to
I
add?
think this should be a wrap up.
So The cloak of shame goes to him for
Easy, you're making me wear this.
for losing his prediction, for the Izzy Strickland fight. Keep up with us on the Boiling Ring. Of course, we'll be back next time holding your favorite talk show as far as sports, combat sports, and all kinds of sports. Remember, does the Premier League come back this weekend?
Yeah, this weekend.
Premier League come back this weekend. So if your team manages to get beat, my God, I'm going to trash you badly, wickedly, spiritually, physically, astronomically, scientific, anyhow, Kali. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section. Like, share, subscribe.